Welcome back to another video, everyone. So in this video, we are going to discuss what is price action, core components of price action, how does price action help us, and we are going to go over some examples of price action. So for people that have not traded, this is going to be something that's completely new. So in this lesson, I'm going to cover everything that you need to know about price action so you can understand it. And as we cover it in the upcoming lessons, we will then start applying these concepts. So first and foremost, let's jump right into it. What is price action? Price action is raw price movement. So basically, when you guys look at a chart, this right here is basic price action. It's very simplified. It's very easy to read and easy to understand. If you look here, we're not using any crazy indicators. We are strictly following price. That is price action. It's raw price movement. In price action, we do not use indicators. I'll show you what indicators are for people that don't know. But for now, just to give you an idea, we are not using indicators. We are focusing solely on raw price movement. In price action, we are using past history to predict what will happen. So basically, we look at what has happened, right, to kind of predict what has the highest probability of happening next. Will or can this stock go up? Will it go down? What will happen? And we basically focus on the past history of price action to kind of predict that. And finally, price action keeps trading simple and clean. Once again, there's not a lot of indicators. There's not a bunch of noise on your chart. You're looking at simple, raw price movement. Now, what are the core components of price action? What are the things that we are going to focus on? So first thing we're going to focus on, and these are the things we're going to cover in the upcoming lessons, is number one, support and resistance. This is where you find supply and demand zones. Once again, we are going to cover these in the upcoming lessons. Candlestick formation. How are candles formed? What is the candle telling us? Is there strength? Is there weakness? What is going on? And once again, all of these components I will cover one by one in the upcoming lessons. Chart formation, volume, and trends. These are the core components of price action. All of these make up price action. They help us identify what will most likely happen to the stock next based on what has happened previously. So here's an example of price action. If you look here, we're looking at stock Apple. This is Apple's chart. And I'm going to break down charts in the next example, but I just want you to understand for now what price action is. And then moving forward, once again, we are going to break down each single item. This is price action, simple raw price movement. Our job as traders is to look at this chart and identify what will happen next by identifying what has happened. So this is a naked stock chart. There is nothing going on here. There's no analysis done. We're just looking at a naked stock chart. So when we are doing price action, looking at price action, we do the following. We apply our critical level. So if you look here, same chart without any analysis. Price action analysis on the same stock. So if you look here, there is demand areas, there is demand areas, there is demand areas. But if you look, now we applied it so we can clearly see. There's a demand zone, which is known as a support area, which is something we're going to cover moving forward. You can see every time the stock came here, had a hard time going below it. Once it went below it, look at the stock, it fell. Now the stock kept going up. Look at the same level that has happened in the past. That same level is now a resistance area known as a supply zone. That same area once again becomes a supply zone and a resistance area once again. This is us analyzing Apple's chart. The past, without any analysis done, and this one has analysis done on it. You can see this is us looking at simple raw price movement, and you can see stock is moving in a healthy uptrend, getting stronger and stronger and stronger. I'm going to break these things down as we progress. All right. Now this is a messy chart displaying indicators. So on this chart, we have a bunch of indicators. You can see we have some indicators which we're not going to use, Bollinger Bands, MACD, RSI, a bunch of different indicators that are showcasing where the stock may possibly go or showcasing whatever the indicator represents. Not something we're going to use, but I just want you to understand the difference of having raw price action and analyzing raw price action and then looking at a chart that is looking at indicators and also looking at price actions. This just kind of overcomplicates things, and as we progress, you guys are going to see what I mean. Now, do not solely trade price action. What a lot of people don't understand is when they're trading, they're like, okay, the stock is hitting this level, it's gotta fall. The stock is hitting this level, it's gotta fall. The stock is coming to this level, it's gotta go up. No, we are not trading solely off price action. That's not how you're going to trade. Keep that in mind. Take a note of this. Very, very important. Do not trade solely off price action, right? You have to understand market direction. You have to understand the sentiment of the company. What is the company's sentiment? You have to then use price action, and as we progress, you're going to see this more and more and more. We are not solely, once again, just saying the stock is hitting a supply zone, it's hitting a resistance zone, it's going to go down. No, that's not the way we're going to trade. We're going to combine these three: market direction, company sentiment, and price action. That is going to give us the highest probability for us to have a successful trade. Now, if you look here, the same example, price action in combination with the market. We have a demand zone known as a support area. Now, the reason the market sold off, there was a market sell-off, right? The market started selling off, right? There's huge, for anyone trading or anyone familiar with this time, this was in 2018 in November, December, and a little bit of October. The market started selling off. Now, because the market started selling off, a stock like Apple is most likely going to sell off too. But we look at the combination of price action. Market is selling off here. The overall market, it has a lot of fear. There's a sell-off going on. That causes majority of stocks to fall as well. But that doesn't mean we go on and take a position. We wait for price action to showcase us something, right? And look, it breaks a critical level, stock starts falling. Same thing here. What happens right here? If you guys look over here, you can see we are at a supply zone and a resistance area. Stock goes to that point, gets rejected, and starts falling. When we look at price action, we are analyzing the past history. We identify these levels. What happened here? Market started selling off again. Why? Because of Trump. There was a tweet that was put out based on the China trade deal that caused the market to sell off. Having a stock like Apple at this critical level, right, with the market selling off and having negative sentiment is going to give us the highest opportunity to get out of the stock or short it, right? So that's what happened here. Same thing here. You can see it's hitting supply zone. It's hitting supply zone. It's hitting supply zone. It's hitting that supply zone multiple times. And right here, we have a lot of negative news about the trade war going on, which is causing the market to be extremely, extremely choppy and messy, right? So we have to, once again, use price action in combination with the market, in combination with the company sentiment. All of these things play a role, and I want you to keep that in mind, right? As we progress, I want you to keep all of those things in mind, so when you actually identify a trade, you're able to better understand what is going on. So how does price action help us? Right? If you guys saw on the last slides, you would have saw how it helps us, but let's kind of break it down. It helps reduce noise and false signals, right? When we use indicators, indicators are going to give us a lot of false signals. Price action gives us raw price movement of what's happening right now. It gives structure to the market. It identifies where are the buyers, where are the sellers, what will most likely happen. So we're able to look at a stock and get a solid structure. It represents crowd psychology. Once again, going back to where are people buying, right? Where are people selling? What areas are there buyers? What areas are sellers? Why are people buying? Why are people selling? We're able to understand crowd psychology by looking at simple, naked price action. And finally, price action gives us an edge on what will most probably happen based on what has happened. So we get an edge. We have probability on our side where we kind of have an identification on what will most likely happen if we are able to understand and analyze price action the right way. Now in the upcoming lessons, what I want you to understand, because I'm going to break everything down one by one, is we're going to break down all of the components of price action step by step. We're going to analyze price charts so you can understand how to read them, how to properly analyze them, how to find your critical levels, how to find direction, and all these things. And I'm going to give you multiple examples so we can understand it all. So if you're lost right now, don't worry, we are going to go through everything one by one. I'm going to give you a bunch of examples so you understand. In the upcoming lessons, beyond this, in another section, I'm going to have you guys apply what we have learned. So this whole section is just about understanding and absorbing the information. Moving forward, you are then going to learn how to actually apply it. So if you are lost, just sit tight and stay the course, and I promise things are going to start clicking more and more and more.